Welcome back, everyone, to the Children First Family Law podcast. I am really happy today to introduce you to Elle Barr, who is coming to us from Pennsylvania, where she is actually a family law attorney who has a lot of experience doing kind of some of the work I do in representing children's best interests. So kudos to you, pat on both of our backs for doing that. But she's coming to us today with that framework, but now working with our family wizard, which is another of the parent communication apps, the co-parent communication applications that can really help improve organization and communication and politeness and all these different things. And so Elle is now the education coordinator for our family wizard. And I just want to welcome you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Krista. Thank you for the kind intro. I'm really thrilled to be here today.
Well, tell us a little, first of all, just since you have this interesting background where you're not just only working at a company, but you have this law background. Tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you go right into family law after law school?
I did. After law school, I clerked for a family division judge down in Camden County, New Jersey. I
Okay.
loved it, and it opened my eyes to what it would be like to serve as a family law attorney, to take on GAL appointments. And for the past 21 years, that's all I've done other than being our family wizard and helping to grow the company and helping to serve more families.
So you still have a private practice?
I do. I have a small practice where I have a handful of cases and I serve as the GAL on those cases in high conflict divorce cases.
Okay, and that in Pennsylvania?
It is. It's in
Okay.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And so, just for listeners who aren't familiar, GAL is guardian ad litem. In Colorado, where I primarily practice, guardians ad litem are largely, not entirely, but largely devoted to the dependency and neglect child welfare system. We call that role in the domestic or divorce courts children's legal representatives. So, just to get all this confusing lingo a little, hopefully a little less muddier. So in Pennsylvania, where you practice, are guardians ad litem in both the child welfare systems and in the domestic courts?
Yes, it's the same title, GAL, similar roles. You serve as an arm of the court, whether it's a dependency matter, it's an abuse and neglect case, you represent that child. Or if it's in a high conflict divorce case, it's in the family division and you represent the child in that matter. So it's same title, similar roles, just different types of cases.
And do you do both types or just the domestic courts?
I do. I do a lot of the dependency cases also, not as much now, but in the past, that's really the meaningful work for me where I could put my head down on my pillow at night and feel like
Yeah.
I really made a huge difference in the life of a child.
So what sets, I mean, tell me as you've sort of, I don't know if you demo this or let's say you're describing it to when you're the guardian ad litem, when you're describing it to parents, um, why would you tell them our family wizard? Because I do think people don't know which one to use. I don't think professionals know that either. Why is our family wizard different or better than, I know it's loaded, but I'm inviting you to answer it. Like why is it the one that people should select?
Our family was were the leading co-parenting app. We were the ones who started it all. It started 25 years ago. The owner and founder, he had a family member going through a divorce. He put the family member on this website that he created. This was back in the late 90s. He pitched it to a judge out in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He said, "Hey, I use this with my family. Why don't you do a pilot in your courtroom, see what happens?" The judge was on board. He put 50 high conflict families on the platform. Well, at the time, it was just a website.
Right.
And the judge saw at the end of this pilot was the parents communicated better. There were less filings, less applications coming in, motions for contempt, motions for modifications. And ultimately, it improved the relationship between the co parents and it benefited the children. So, going back from the late 90s till now, we have grown, we've expanded, and I would say we have the most robust platform out there for co parents. And it was so very carefully and thoughtfully designed with the purpose of strengthening the co parenting relationship and improving outcomes for the entire family.
Okay, so calendaring, are they able to share just one calendar for all events? Like how do you make sure that's not manipulated? Like, can anybody can either parent add events to it? How does that work?
The calendar was very carefully and thoughtfully designed for co-parents, and it has expanded over the years. It's unbelievable at this point. It's one shared calendar, and they could put everything onto this calendar, starting with the parenting schedule, which is color coded. Each parent gets a color, each child gets a color, and those colors follow through on all of the features throughout the platform. Um, so after they put their parenting schedule on, they could start adding holidays, birthdays, journal entries, events, and everything is documented. So the minute they put that event on, there's going to be created by mom on this date at this time. If mom edits it, there's going to be a history note edited by mom on this date, on this time. Everything is highly documented. They can also put on their winter breaks, their spring breaks, their summer vacations, different holidays. Those holidays are going to override the parenting schedule. So, what holiday we have coming up? We have Labor Day weekend coming up. So, let's say mom gets Labor Day weekend, but according to the parenting schedule, it's dad's weekend. They put that holiday in as mom, and it's going to switch colors. It's going to update. It's really great also when you print it out and you give it to the kids. A lot of times when I'm on a super high conflict case, I'll go in if they have their parenting schedule on there with all the holidays. I will print it out. I'll bring it to the kid and I'll say, this is the parent out, especially if it's a little
That's
kid.
smart. Mhm.
And you do a colored printout, you show them, and it's a really helpful tool. But in addition to that, like I mentioned earlier, they could do the parenting modification requests on the calendars, which is great. It's really, really helpful. Um, they could put pickup and drop off times when they're scheduling extracurriculars. They could put a note in there. And if they're drafting their note, they're going to have the AI helping them draft that
Yeah.
note. Like, don't forget the ballet slippers or
Right.
forget the water bottle. It's going to say, it's important to bring the
Yeah.
water bottle to every basketball practice.
Right. Right.
Um, it's a really robust calendar that streamlines co-parenting, helps this family with all the families who are on it using it properly and really taking advantage of all the tools. It's going to help them co-parent more effectively.
You just said it's not only an app, so I wanna make sure I'm not platform, maybe is a better word for it, but okay, how does that work?
Great question. So the expense calculator, the expense log, it simplifies all the co-parenting expense tracking. It is where parents can accurately track all of the child-related spending. So they can request and transfer funds for expenses. So they could submit requests for reimbursement and then they could actually transfer funds through our OFW Pay. It's like a built in Venmo or PayPal. They link up their checking accounts, they put the routing number, the checking account numbers. And then once a request for reimbursement is submitted, it's approved. They could then go to OFW Pay, transfer those funds. So it's like double, triple documentation, and everything is documented. And then you finally see the transfer of the funds and you see the last four digits of the account number and the funds going from one account to the next account. And then it's time stamped with the date and time. When they're submitting their request for reimbursement, they could add receipts to each entry. So there's going to be that documentation as well, because that's a huge issue. I never saw the receipt. I don't have proof that you paid
What
for
do you
that.
do? Can you just take a picture of it?
They open up their app. As they're filling out the fields for the request for reimbursement, they get to the bottom. They see a little camera. They click on it. It goes into their photos on their phone. They click the screenshot. It's attached and then submit.